Hey guys, it's Queer Gremlin, and today marks 4 months on testosterone. So, before we start with kind of like my little head to toe changes, I want to tell you guys about the fact that I went to my endocrinologist for my 3-month checkup about 2 weeks ago, and I know it's a little over 3 months, but there was this whole situation and I didn't have health insurance for a minute, but we got it figured out. Anyway, I went in to go see my endo for my checkup, and they checked my levels, and they were low. Shocker. Shocker. But basically, they checked my levels and they're like, oh, well that's weird. And I was like, what? And they're like, well, we wanted your levels to be a little higher. And I'm like, why are you surprised when you essentially gave me like a sixth of a dose that like somebody my age would normally have? Why are you surprised that my T levels are still low? And I guess what they ended up saying was like, oh, well, we just thought that maybe like sometimes people's bodies like get a little bit of testosterone and they just run with it and their levels spike really high. And I just, no, nope. And so essentially these last 3 months, the reason really nothing much has been happening is because my levels have been so low. Obviously still higher than they naturally would be, but nowhere near in the range where they wanted me to be at this point in time. And so that's kind of frustrating, and it felt like a really big setback. Like, wow, I just injected myself every week for 3 months for like really not much. But they did end up upping my dose. They essentially doubled my dose, which they normally don't do, but it was just because my levels were so low. And they said the next time I go in, they probably won't double it, but go up by like a fourth. So there's that. So I feel a little bit better now, knowing that like there wasn't like something wrong with me and nothing's happening. But more of it just like I needed more. And so I'm currently 2 weeks on that new dose. And I really haven't noticed much difference yet, but we'll see as the months go by. Anyway, getting into it, starting head to toe like always. My hair, no changes. I'm still going gray. My hair still falls out like crazy, but it's always done that. Moving down into my eyebrows, they're very unruly. I have to groom them quite often, but they've kind of always been like that. My acne is something that I've been noticing more and more, but the thing about my acne is that like every single month I'm like, oh man, my acne is getting really bad. Maybe the testosterone's kicking in and I'm gonna have horrible acne now. But I kind of recently discovered that my breakouts mostly coincide with Shark Week, which I had never really noticed before, but I guess there's just like a lot of hormonal fluctuation and all that garbage going on, and so my face is kind of a mess. But something that I am really excited to mention is that I recently shaved for the first time a couple days ago, and I'm gonna leave a link or like one of those little like slidey thingies at the top of the screen. I don't know what side it's gonna be on, but yeah, or maybe I'll leave it at the end. In the little at the end. Keep an eye out for that if you want to see it. But I have like stubble growing back already, which is surprising, but it's definitely something that like just seeing that I'm growing facial hair back and that it's not gone forever, which I know sounds stupid, but like I'm growing it back and I have stubble, just makes me really happy. And it kind of helps with some of the dysphoria a little bit. I mean, it's not like a full mustache or anything yet, or a full beard, but like, there's something happening. Moving down, you know what, we'll just talk about my voice right now. Like always, I still have no idea if anything's going on with it. Some people say there is, some people say there isn't. I have no idea. So I'm just gonna go ahead and roll a clip for ya. Fuck, fuck, fuck. This is my voice pre-T. This is my voice 1 month on T. This is my voice 2 months on T. This is my voice 3 months on T. This is my voice 4 months on T. Alrighty, so I'm kind of just gonna talk about my body composition as a whole, because that's something this month that I've really noticed has started to change. especially my hips. Like I thought before the first like month or two that I was really noticing a lot of change with like, you know, my hips. I'm getting less hips and like my shoulders are getting broader, and just like my fat is redistributing and my body in general is changing. Which it was, at first it was just like the small things that I was noticing, but this month, like, I need to buy new clothes. Specifically pants. My pants don't fit me anymore. I need to get a smaller size, and it's really weird that like I'm remaining the same weight, but my body is changing so drastically to where I have to get new clothes. Another thing I wanted to mention, this has probably been the biggest change on testosterone for me so far, it's the fact that I am hairy. I've never been hairy before in my life. Like, I looked at my legs the other day, and it's like, my calves and stuff like that have always been like, you know, there's a little hair, but it's like, it's really, really getting hairy, and I don't feel like pulling out like a camera and like at my leg, but just trust me, it's there. And I'm starting to get hair on my thighs, which I've never had before. But the biggest thing is that my stomach, especially on the side that I inject, it's getting really hairy. And it's like, I'm not mad at it, but like, it's just weird. I've never had like body hair in my life. So it's like an exciting change, honestly. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of here for it. I mean, I don't want to be like a woolly mammoth one day, but you don't get to choose. But yeah, that's the thing. Moving down into the nether regions, talking about reproductive health. This kind of sucks to talk about. I think I said last month that it wasn't time for me to like start bleeding yet by the time that video came out, and so I didn't know whether or not, like, maybe I won't get my period this month, or like, you know, whatever. But a couple days later, lo and behold, it was fucking hell. TMI, but it was like the fucking floodgates opened, and like, it was literally like the period from hell. And it really was honestly kind of damaging, because I was already in a really bad place last month, and I was kind of like hoping like maybe this will be like the one thing I can have, and it just like was like no, and slapped me in the face. And so it was just like a really, really rough time, and honestly I'm like a couple days away from potentially having to deal with that again, and I just like, I'm really stressed out about it and really like just uncomfortable because of it. I'm literally dreading these next couple of days, and that's not fun. And I'm hoping that maybe with this new dose it'll just like not be a thing that I have to deal with ever again, but something tells me it will be, because that's just like my life. That's just how it'd be like that sometimes. But yeah, that's still happening. When it comes to like physical changes such as, you know, bottom growth and all of that, I honestly kind of stopped noticing bottom growth after the first month, because the first month was such a drastic change in my anatomy to where like now it almost becomes normal to like just have it be how it be. I'm sure that I'm growing and things are changing. I definitely am growing, but like I don't notice it as much anymore as I did that first month. It's not like, it's like a steady rate of growth, but I don't really pay attention too much down there because we're not friends. I'm not cool with it. I'm not here for it. It's just kind of there. But yeah. The last thing I kind of wanted to touch on was mental health. Last month I was in a really, really rough spot dysphoria-wise, and just really frustrated that nothing was happening. And to be honest with you, I'm still kind of there. I'm frustrated and I feel like nothing is happening. And it's like, sometimes I get these little like twinges of like, oh well, maybe something's happening now. But the majority, like the general consensus, is that I feel stuck still. And the other night, it got to the point where I just got so angry and so frustrated with it. Like, I'm injecting myself once a week, and it hurts, and it like sucks, and I just like, I'm going through all of this, and for what? So I can have a hairy stomach? You know what I mean? Like, in that moment, in my head, the pros and cons were not, I don't know, they were like out of balance. Like, I was losing my mind, and I was like, well, guess I might as well just like pack up my trans shit again and like go wear women's clothing again and go back to living the way that I was before. But then immediately my brain shut that way of thinking down, because I genuinely thought about the way that I was living before and the person that I like essentially was before. I mean, you know what I mean? And just like that life and that kind of life, and I started to panic. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm worried about it. I mean like a full-blown panic attack. And so I'm just in this really hard space where like right now, things for me aren't happening fast enough. But I know that if I don't go through this hard, slow time right now, in the future, I won't be here. If I had to go back to living like I was before, I would rather not live at all. And that's a really scary thought, but at the same time almost kind of morbidly reassuring that I am doing the right thing for myself. Anyway guys, that's all I've got for you today. I guess I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks.